Welcome to Under the Quill. We're your hosts. I'm B
And I'm Stuart. As an avid Lorcana player,
and a Lorcana newbie.
we want to talk more about all things Lorcana, from playing the game to exploring the lore and the latest updates.
Today is an intro episode, just a get to know you. I have a few questions for Stuart about the game. So, Stuart, how long have you been playing Lorcana?
It's almost been 2 years now. So I started at the beginning of set 4. I walked into my local game shop and bought a starter deck, the Madrigal starter deck from The Return of Ursula. That's how I started. My cousin was the one who introduced me to the game. Her name's Heidi. She found Lorcana and fell in love with it. She loves all things Disney and suggested that I try it out. I also love Disney, and I thought the game wouldn't be my cup of tea when I first started, but I fell in love as soon as I played a game.
Is this the first card game that you've played?
No, when I was younger, I played Yu-Gi-Oh, but it was just in my friend's basement. We loved the game. We played it every Saturday, every time we got together, but I never went to a local tournament or really invested, like got good decks or anything, but I loved it as a kid.
Do you feel like your history with Yu Gi Oh helped you pick up the principles of Lorcana pretty quickly?
I think so. The biggest thing that I brought from Yu-Gi-Oh was building a deck. Not that I'm an avid deck builder or that I build the best decks out there, but I had a lot of practice putting together cards and having an idea of what kind of deck I wanted to build and what cards that I could look for to put into the deck to work together.
That brings up a great question. What is your favorite kind of deck to build in this game?
My favorite kinds of deck are by far theme decks. So cards that aren't necessarily the most played cards or the most popular, but the little cards that work together, and especially cards that are all from the same movie or same kind of cards. One of my favorite decks right now, I call it my pet deck, and it's all different pets from different movies. So I've got Stitch because he was kind of a dog in the movie, and I've got the Aristocats, I've got 101 Dalmatians in there. I've even got the item Popsicle in there because it looks like a dog footprint.
So, you brought up that in Yu Gi Oh! You did not play many tournaments, but you have done more tournaments with Lorcana. How has that experience been for you?
It's been a really good growing opportunity for me. I get really nervous around other people, and I am a very shy person. Going out to tournaments has given me the chance to talk to people and get out of my comfort zone. I just love going.
As a self proclaimed shy person, what made you want to start a podcast about Lorcana? Actually, audience, I'm going to take this one. We are starting this podcast because every day Stuart comes home and tells me everything about Lorcana, the news, new theories that he has, lore upon lore upon lore, both canon and not. And I don't think I've ever seen a person be this singularly invested in something. I feel like I have seen him want to develop community so badly over the shared interest. And he's been able to do that from one side of the screen, commenting on other people's videos and engaging. But he's always wanted to do it from the other side of the screen, being able to share his thoughts and his feelings with people who really understand them. Stuart, can you tell me the history of Lorcana? That is something that I don't know as I came into this with you at the return of Ursula. He's giving me a nod. I'm so sorry. I am the newbie. But yes, it was the return of Ursula. And so I feel like I missed the beginning of Lorcana. Can you tell me more about the history of Lorcana and why it started and when it started?
I know at some point we're going to do a deep dive into all these topics, and I'm very excited to learn more. But from what I understand, Okana is made by the company Ravensburger, who also makes Villainous. They already did such a good job with the Disney characters and creating a game that feels like the stories that come from Disney. And they approached Disney and wanted to make a trading card game, and Disney said yes.
Do you feel like this card game is more led by Ravensburger or more by Disney?
I think that's the beauty of it, is that both companies are working together to create Disney Lorcana. So you have the magic of the Disney stories and everything that they put into Disney to make it special. And then Ravensburger is really good at creating games. I know everything that Ravensburger does has to be approved by Disney when it comes to the art or the style that they're doing, the wording on the cards. All of it needs to be approved by Disney so that it's true to the characters and the movies and the magic that Disney works so hard to create.
Is there a lot of canon information from this game that does not come from Disney movies?
I love how they've approached making this game because they've taken the stories that you know from Disney and they've taken it into a realm where those stories come to life and they can expand and grow.
Can you give me an example of canon lore that's in Lorcana that is not typically found in the Disney realm?
So the Illumineers are a great example of this. One of the things I love most about Lorcana is that there's this overarching story behind the cards. So as you open packs and play the game, the art and the words on the cards tell this overarching story from set to set.
So, what is the purpose of the Illumineers in Lorcana?
So Illumineers are what you are as a player of Lorcana. Just like in the Pokemon card game, how you are a Pokemon trainer and the cards that you have represent the Pokemon that you're training and battling with. In Lorcana, you are an Illumineer, and the cards that you have represent the characters that you're summoning. When you sit down to play a Lorcana game, it's like you're both racing to find a story. So as you go throughout the game, you're the way that you get points is you quest and gain lore. And then once you reach 20 lore, you win the game. The story behind it is that you get a story star. And story stars are bits of lore that are located throughout the realm of Lorcana that represents the Disney stories. As you go together, you're both battling and questing and challenging each other to get 20 lore first.
In the story of Lorcana, is there a use for these story stars, or do we not know that yet?
As an Illumineer, you were called to the realm of Lorcana to collect these story stars. And there is a character known as the curator who is going around collecting these story stars, saving them so that they can all be in one place and the stories won't be lost.
Was there a catalyst event that scattered these?
I don't think they were ever in one place. I think they were just Lorcana, the realm of Lorcana has all of these stories, and your goal is to go out and find them and bring them back to one place.
Okay, so it didn't start somewhere where it was like a big bang and these were all lost. Like we enter the world of Lorcana and they're just scattered.
Yes.
Okay, interesting. Speaking of like questing, challenging, I know every card has all of this information on it, right? You have strength, you have willpower, you have your how much a card quests for. There's also an important part of the card which goes back to the title of our podcast, Under the Quill. And I wanted to ask you more about that. I know that symbol particularly has been important to you as you've played the game because you are so interested in the lore. So that symbol is right below the ability, but right above the flavor text, correct?
Yeah. So it's not on every card. Some cards just have the ability of the card that will activate when you play it. But more than half of the cards have a line that separates the ability of the card from the flavor text. And on the left hand side is a little symbol. It'll either be a book, which represents a direct quote from the movie that the card is from, or it will be a little pen or quill that shows flavor text that's directly from Lorcana. So new to any Disney story, it's from this realm of Lorcana.
Have there been any characters on cards that are new to Disney and unique to the game of Lorcana?
I don't think there's any unique characters specifically on cards that are introduced to Lorcana. So every character is from a movie or a TV show, but they have adaptations that are unique to Lorcana.
Can you give me an example, or even better, your favorite example of an adaptation that Lorcana made that you feel like really added to the character?
Yes, one of my favorites is from the movies is Cinderella Ballroom Sensation, where she's stepping out of the carriage. It's one of the most iconic moments from the movies, and it's directly onto a card. And in the realm of Lorcana, Cinderella, and we'll talk about the whole story behind this later, but Cinderella has gone from going to the ball to becoming a knight that can protect the castle. And she's got armor, her sword has the pumpkin carriage on it. She's decked out from head to toe in this amazing armor. And that's just one of the examples of the transformation that these characters can take in the realm of Lorcana.
I know characters are a leading form of Lorcana, but Lorcana also features songs, items, and action cards. Can you tell me a little bit more about those and the role that they play in the game?
So item cards are one of the things that you are collecting in the realm of Lorcana, like how you collect these story stars, these stories that can all be in one place. You're also gathering these magical items that are from the Disney stories. And there's items that are taken directly from the movies and items that are unique to Lorcana. The actions are the same thing. They can be directly from a movie or they can be from Lorcana. Like in the latest set, Winter Spell, there's a lot of actions that show the story of Lorcana where all the characters that you are summoning get into a snowball fight because there's a sudden winter storm. And then the last thing is songs, and all songs are actions, but they're directly from the movies, the songs of Disney movies, which is definitely one of my favorite parts about Disney are the songs. On the bottom of every song card, how we talked about there's a book or a pen that has the flavor text under it. The song cards have a musical symbol that has a line from the song.
You brought up the latest set, Winter Spell, right? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
How many sets have been released?
So right now we're on set 11, which feels like a lot now that we're now that we're into it. I started when there was only 4 sets released and now there's 11 sets and I've gotten cards from all of them and gone to tournaments from so many different sets. And there's now over I think there's almost 3,000 cards that they've created, which is just wild to me.
Do you have a favorite set that's been released?
Set 4 will always be special to me because it was the first set that I ever bought in Lorcana. I think my favorite set was Arcasia's Island. There's something about the art from that set that's beautiful, and they also introduced dual ink cards in that set where a card can be 2 different colors at the same time, and taking those elements from all the different colors and combining them hadn't ever been done before. So I love the art and the characters that created from that set. I think it's just beautiful.
You brought up that they had done something they'd never done before, which I know as any card game, Lorcana is trying to evolve and do things that are new and keep up interest. Was there anything they did in this last set that introduced new ideas or versions of gameplay?
So I don't think they added any new mechanics in this set. The last set they added one called Boost, where you put cards underneath cards. And this set builds on that concept where there's more synergy between cards and really cool effects that I want to try out. But I'm sure in the future they're always thinking of new abilities they can add.
Do you have a theory for a new twist that they could be putting on the game?
I know something they've been building up towards is cards in your discard pile and using effects that either move them out of the discard pile and have unique effects from that, or ways of getting cards back from your discard pile to use later in the game.
Speaking of theories, are there any Disney movies that you have seen underutilized in the game that you think that they might be debuting soon?
My favorite Disney movie has yet to make its debut in Lorcana. It's The Hunchback of Notre Dame. I can't wait until they introduce all of those cards and the music and the characters. That'll be a very exciting day. So that will be a whole big episode someday.
I'm so excited for you. I mean, a little sad that it hasn't happened yet, but like, what a thing to look forward to. For me personally, I've wanted to see more of the Tinkerbell fairies. I think right now they've only released Tinkerbell, correct? He's nodding at me. So I know to the audience listening, if any of you are Tinkerbell fans, that is what I am waiting for. And I'm really hoping that they do it justice with the artwork because I feel like the Tinkerbell fairies are gorgeous. And so the artwork could be really something cool. So we're going to wrap up our intro episode. I know there's something that Stuart is really excited to talk about that we will be covering next week. So I'll let him talk about that for a moment, give a little taste of what's to come, and then we will wrap up our show for the day.
Yeah, this has been very exciting to start. We've been talking about it for a long time and B has been pushing me to do this and I'm very excited to finally have it happen. So our next episode we wanted to talk about all the different ways you can play Lorcana. It's not just sitting down and playing a game or going to competitions. There's at least 8 different ways that we've thought of that you can play Lorcana and make it fun.
And that is based on the psychology of adult play.
Yes, there's a book by Stuart Brown about adult play, and there's 8 different versions of play that you can get into. If it's collecting things, moving your body, laughter, or being competitive, there's so many different ways that you can play as an adult.
And I know that's one thing that you really pride yourself in, Stuart, is not just playing the game of Lorcana, but how you can take the game and make it almost a lifestyle for yourself. Recently, you developed a character quiz that relates your Myers-Briggs type to an ink pairing in the game. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
So it's based off of the Myers-Briggs 16 personalities, and it's a personality test that tells you what your ink pairing should be based off of personality questions.
Very cool. And I know we are trying to get that quiz up and running for anyone who wants to take it. And you can look out for more resources like that from Under the Quill and from Stuart, who goes by BR Quest on YouTube. So if you see his name around, please say hi. We appreciate everyone who tuned in, and we are really excited to create a community around Lorcana and to really have a space for people to not just talk about deck building or gameplay, but talking about the love of the stories behind Lorcana and the theories they have for the game and really showcasing the value that it brings to people's lives. Thank you so much for your time today. I'm going to let Stuart say his goodbyes and then we will pop off until next time.
Yeah, we're so excited to get this going and finally, after talking about it for a very long time, finally record. So thank you for listening and happy questing.